9:08's the time. 30 degrees, AM 650, KGAB Radio. My name's Glenn Wood. Sitting in the studio with me, Rihanna Brand, who is here on a mission and happy because victory. So far,
yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Bill number what?
House Bill 211.
Okay.
It's mental health parity and substance abuse.
Okay. Now, what do we do? First of all, let's look at the definition. Mental health parity? When I think of parity, I think of the funny stuff I do on the air. So what does that mean?
So it's just giving mental health and substance abuse disorders the proper insurance coverage.
Okay.
Just like, you go and you get a broken leg, you go to the doctor, you get 80% of that paid, and you have to do a 20% copay.
Okay.
What is happening is back in 2008, through the Bush administration, there was a federal mental health parity bill pushed through. But we are one of 3 states that does not have a state parity bill. So when someone calls and complains saying, hey, my deductible for my mental health insurance is 3 times the amount that my physical health is, and that my copay is 50% of my visits, they call the insurance commissioner here in the state of Wyoming, and he doesn't have any say yet. Right. Hopefully with this bill he will. He just gives you a federal number. You call that, and we all know how fast the federal government works.
God, yeah. I lost my Social Security card. So I called the Social Security office because they can just mail one to you. And the federal Social Security office, that recording, they said my wait time on hold would be 14 hours. I walked into the one here in Cheyenne, which is just right up the road from where I live. I walked in the door, and the guy at the desk said, yeah, go right on back, and got it handled in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So the difference is
huge.
It's the federal, going through the federal to get that covered for your mental health versus the state. It's going to be a lot quicker.
Much faster, much cheaper. Now, when we're talking about that, are we talking medication or seeing a professional or both?
Seeing a mental health professional and the different types. If someone has autism, being able to get the correct help for that, the correct therapist for that, the correct everything for that, in order for a person to live at the best of their ability in their life. So, mental health parity, big deal. So
this got out of committee and is where now?
Yes, out of committee, just passed 9-0. Okay. So super thankful for that. Want to say thank you to all of the sponsors for that. Dayton was the main sponsor, and then we have Pappas, Brown, Clifford, which super excited me. She's new to the legislation. Sweeney. And so really thankful for the support from those legislators on that. And if you're listening right now and you have something to say about this, please write your representative and let them know that mental health and substance abuse coverage for our insurance is a desperate need here in the state of Wyoming.
When I first met you, the state of Wyoming had greatly reduced, of course, its budget, which cut out suicide prevention as part of it. You were on a fight, you were on a tear to get money raised so you can continue to fund things like a helpline, of course, with a high suicide rate in the state of Wyoming. Where are you at now? Any state funding come back or federal funding financing? So
state funding last legislative session, they put $1.5 million in Wyoming Department of Health put in $500,000, which was divvied across each county in a specific amount. Then each county rolled to the county commissioners. People were allowed to apply for that grant. Cheyenne Regional Medical Center Population Health did here. And I actually just found out yesterday we will be getting $80,000 of the almost $1 million that was put in for all prevention efforts over the next 2 years. So really excited about that. That's super helpful. That's a lot of money compared to zero.
Also, I showed up at a couple of other places where you had raised, thanks to Taco John's, companies like that who helped raise a whole lot of money. And by the way, since, I did lose a bunch of weight here, but it didn't help that I had to go to Taco John's to donate. Just so you know, you weren't helping during the diet time here.
Yeah, well, I believe that we're going to be doing that again with Taco John's and Jonah Bank. So pack on those potato lays.
Yeah, they raised a lot of money, though. So altogether now, have you reached your goal of what you think you need?
There's a lot of programs and services here in Laramie County. We have a lot going on because you have Grace for Two Brothers Foundation. But there are other counties that literally have nothing. Platte County, there's not much going on other than we have a support group there for survivors of suicide loss. So as much money as we need, I mean, there's always more that we need.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, how do you deal with that when you're talking about a state that is so spread out? You drive through a town, population 14. How do you service a community like that out in the middle of nowhere?
It's hard, with the rural areas. And honestly, suicide prevention looks different throughout the entire state. We've got, we work really closely with Elk Sage, the Northern Arapaho Suicide Prevention up on the reservation. And he does horse culture classes. And so it's different than what we're doing here, but it relates to the population there. And so that's why we need to look at Wyoming in a little bit of a different aspect. And what I keep telling to the national organizations is that, you can push evidence-based practices all you want, but evidence-based is not evidence-based in Wyoming because it's a different world. So trying to get different programs and services, seeing what's working well and what's not. So a population of 14, inviting them to the nearest training in the largest community next to them, making sure that they have hope magnets with the 800 number and the text line on it, doing the best that we can to serve every population. But it's hard with the rural aspect of Wyoming for sure.
More with Rhiannon Brand in just a moment. AM 650 KGAB.